And someone was volunteering to turn the lights down in the back. Is it possible if we could turn the lights down? All right, well, thank you. My name is Calvin Tillman. I'm the mayor of a little small town called Dish. We're up in Denton County. I've been the mayor there for 4 years. I served 2 years on the council prior to that, and we've been pretty active in dealing with the natural gas industry because we're essentially in the heart of the Barnett Shale. And so, as I was doing this, I knew that I didn't want to be mayor forever. And so I wanted to do something else, and I wanted to help a lot of folks outside of the borders of Dish. And so some of the folks graciously suggested that I run for higher office, and I'll just say that, sorry guys in the back, I don't really like politicians, so I certainly don't want to hang around a lot more of them. So I want to introduce ShaleTest. ShaleTest is an organization. There's our mission statement. Our essential goal is to help people. We're going to do some environmental testing for folks who can't afford it, and we're going to collect some valuable data in the process. So, again, ShaleTest is the organization. Can we go to the next slide? We are a not-for-profit organization. We have our 501c3 in progress. We have 5 members to our board of directors. We have 5 members on our board of directors with a maximum of 7 members that we can grow to. We have 4 advisors that will assist us with a lot of the technical aspects. It was okay, Don. I really don't like that. Yeah, back where it was fine.
Don's not our technical advisor.
No. That's okay right there. If you just leave it, that's fine.
We're good. We'll move it.
Yeah. And so we also have regional team members. So we're not just in the Barnett Shale. We're in other shale plays. From the get-go, from today, right now, we have folks around the United States that are volunteering to serve in this organization. We also work with several other community awareness groups around the nation. We'll go to the next. On our board of directors, we have Tim Ruggiero, Sharon Wilson, myself, Cora Bell, and Susan Knoll. Tim Ruggiero started his involvement with natural gas well development on September 16th when Aruba Petroleum, without notice, cut down his family's $15,000 fence and bulldozed 3 acres of his property. Tim and his wife Christine were outraged and have been at odds with Aruba ever since. Tim soon started attending Dish, Texas council meetings, where he met and befriended the town's mayor, Calvin Tillman. Tim joined Mayor Tillman on a speaking tour through the Marcellus Shale in April 2009, where they got a first-hand look at the negative impacts natural gas well development had on people's drinking water, land, air, and even health. Tim also saw by this point that very same government agencies, such as the DEP and the TCEQ, were doing nothing to protect the health concerns of the people. Tim also cautions people about the adverse health effects of natural gas well development on property values following a September 16th, 2010 ruling by the Wise County Appraisal Review 5-0 decision to devalue their home from more than $257,000 to $75,000. Tim lives in Decatur, Texas, in eastern Wise County with his wife Christine and 10-year-old daughter Riley. One thing about Tim that I liked right away, first off, he started showing up at our town meetings, and I actually thought he was a citizen of Dish for quite some time. And then I wrote a story about what had happened to him, and one of the things that he had mentioned when he pulled up and they had come onto his property without notice, Tim went in and grabbed his shotgun and was going out the door when his wife caught him and shocked him out of it. Certainly, I'm not suggesting that violence is an avenue or a way, but there's something about a guy who will protect his family, so we began to be friends pretty quickly. And again, he toured the Marcellus Shale with me, and during that tour was when the foundation for ShaleTest was set. We sat down over dinner, and I brought it up to Tim, and he liked the idea, and it just continued to grow from there. So as we've been working heavily on this since that time. Sharon Wilson, of course most of you know, Texas Sharon, is considered the leading citizen expert in Barnett Shale and the go-to person on whether it's top EPA officials from D.C., major national news networks, or national environmental organizations wanting an educational tour, or residents facing the shock of eminent domain on the devastating environmental effects of natural gas development in their backyards. For the past year, her blog, which focuses exclusively on drilling issues, has been regularly rated #1 in the aggregate Texas blogs. Sharon spent years educating others about environmental damage caused from weak regulation and lax enforcement before joining forces with the Oil and Gas Accountability Project. She worked with the Texas OGAP Steering Committee for several months to write Drill Right Texas. She worked with Best Oil and Accountability Practices for Texas. In January, Sharon became the organizer for Texas OGAP. 12 years spent working in the industry gives Sharon the unique perspective of knowing the industry from both sides. In addition to her knowledge of oil and gas issues, Sharon is certified to serve as a court-appointed mediator and has vast diversified business background. And I think that we all know that Sharon was doing this for a long time. I met her several years ago before doing what we do was cool. So she's been around for a long time. Most of you know her, and she's on our board as well. Cora Bell is another board member. Cora is an implant from Australia, currently lives in Corinth, Texas. Cora led a drive in Corinth, and hence was one of the founding members of Corinth Cares. Corinth residents were successful in stopping a gas company from drilling within the arm's reach of citizens' homes. Cora continues to be active in the public awareness campaign and the dangers of urban drilling efforts. Her efforts extend across North Texas and now even into her home country of Australia. So a quick story about Cora. It was Wednesday or Thursday afternoon, and I get a phone call from a lady with an Australian accent, and she is frantic because they're going to be drilling putting a pretty massive pad site within close proximity of her home. And so she asked me if I would meet her. And I said, yeah, okay, we can meet. I invited Tim and Sharon to come with me. That was on that Saturday. So it was probably Friday before I actually got a hold of her. And then on Saturday, she came and met with me and Sharon and Tim. And then that Monday night, we had a presentation in our driveway in her suburban home, about 100 people. The next night, Tuesday night, I met with her mayor, and my wife is going, those people in Corinth are pretty needy, aren't they? And I said, yeah, but you know what, Cora was working hard, because about a week later we had a presentation in the local high school that was about 450 people, and by the time the next council meeting came, I believe she had close to 1,000 signatures opposing that. So she has really got out and done it, and it has just been a magnificent relationship with Cora. She's vast knowledge of experience, and she's a real go-getter, and we're glad to have her on the board. Susan Knoll lives in Bartonville, Texas. She's also a board member. She's a business owner, web designer, and runner. Susan has become outspoken and diligent as she deals with urban gas drilling personally in her surrounding neighborhood. Her personal experiences on her property have provided her with knowledge and tools to be a leading force in her community. Susan is one of the prominent activists to protest a gas refinery going in hundreds of feet from residents to the drilling of 36 wells going in by the public school. Her desire to advocate and be safe for a healthy environment to preserve her community's quality of life has brought her to ShaleTest. In an article written about Susan, the Fort Worth Weekly asked, "Don't drillers and state regulators ever watch those National Geographic specials to see what mama bears do even when their cubs are threatened?" We can go on to the next one. This is a listing of our advisors. We have MacArthur Genius Award winner Wilma Suber. Most of us are aware of her at this point. She has done quite a bit for various small communities, including Dish. Met her right when we got started, and she has been just a tremendous asset to the town of Dish, and I know she'll be a tremendous asset to ShaleTest as well. Chris Nidell is a chemical engineer and environmental attorney. Chris represents individuals and groups across the country injured or threatened by exposures to toxic chemicals in the workplace and the environment. And Mr. Nidell also represents groups and nonprofits, organizations on several environmental issues, including coal-fired power plants, fly ash, groundwater contamination, and natural resource damage. Chris has a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering from the University of Virginia, a master's degree in chemical engineering from MIT. After completing his master's in engineering, Chris spent 5 years doing process research and development at a major pharmaceutical company. After attending law school at the University of Virginia, Chris went to work for Fred Barron at the premium environmental toxic tort firm Barron and Budd in Dallas, Texas. Chris now lives in Washington, D.C., and he has his own firm, Nidell Law. Sherelle Blazer is an atmospheric chemist, and she's worked in toxicology and public health. And of course, very proud to have Josh Fox, the producer of the multiple award-winning documentary Gasland, as an advisor as well. We have some regional team members that I was telling you about. In the Fayetteville Shale in Arkansas, we have Andy Cheshire, who's running the computer, and Robert Finn, who could not make it. And in Marcellus Shale, we have Stephanie Hollowich, and we have Frank Finn sitting down at the end of the table. Some of the testing equipment that we will be employing is the FLIR gas finder infrared camera, the portable gas chromatograph, stainless steel Suma canisters, and Tedlar bags. Some of the capabilities: air, soil, water, and we can do ground and surface water. Here's a picture of us. We've done a little bit of filming with the FLIR gas finder. And this camera is an infrared imaging camera that allows you to see VOCs, and it will help in determining the sampling locations because you can essentially see where the emissions are going. Most folks have seen some videos of this. We'll have an informational video coming up. This will help also provide our industry and our regulatory agencies a good depiction of what's coming from some of these facilities. I'm going to click in the middle of that screen, Andy.
It's on here?
Yeah, if you just click on that, it'll play. So this is a well site that is off of 380 near Tim Ruggiero's house. And we stopped and did some footage. We're a significant ways away from this, so you could probably actually see it quite a bit better. Can everybody kind of see that? You see it's coming from all sources. And so we spent 2 days in the Barnett Shale, 3 days in the Barnett Shale, doing a significant amount of testing. If you just click in the middle of that again, Andy, it'll pause it, and then you can just hit the down arrow. Okay, you can click on that one as well. You can click. Okay, and this is a well site that is on Highway 407 in between I-35W and FM 156. It's near Dish, but it is actually in the town of North Lake. And so you can see these significant emissions coming out of the vent stacks on that one. And Andy, again, if you just want to click in the middle of that and hit the down arrow.